let's switch gears a little bit.
Okay.
We're in our draft talk already, and I want to talk about particularly the tropes that black quarterbacks have been facing going into this NFL draft. It's not an uncommon thing. It is not something that is new, but there's a consistent devaluation that comes to these quarterbacks when we finally get to the media cycle, wanting to chew them up and spit them out and talk about them a ton. And codes are the best way that this has been explained, talked about, at least in front of me. So usually they want to have a code for this quarterback is dumb. So they'll say he has trouble processing defenses or getting through his reads. They want to say this quarterback is lazy. They'll say, oh, I don't think he really has a love for the game. He isn't a person that loves to study the game. You know what I'm talking about?
I know.
They want to say he has character issues. They'll be like, he was never a really great leader in the locker room. Like, this has been a big thing. And particularly as of late, this has been a thing impacting Justin Fields. For years now, people have said Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, 1 and 2 in the draft. These are the talents for these quarterbacks. And over the past couple of weeks, we've seen a lot of people saying, I'm not sure about Justin Fields' processor, how he reads defenses, and he's starting to drop down. Before, people were saying it's 2, then it was 3, then it was 5. Then there's 4 other quarterbacks that are better than him in the draft. Where are you at with this?
I think there's always some truth to this. I do think occasionally it's certainly possible that some of these quarterbacks are not able to read defenses as well. That is certainly a possible realistic criticism of them. The part that's more concerning is things like character issues, for example. The first would be, I mean, even a comparison between Justin Fields and Mac Jones I saw on social media. Well, like, their character concerns around Justin Fields. Well, like, okay, well, if that's true, let's talk about Mac Jones' DUI.
Wait, Mac Jones has a DUI?
Apparently. Never even heard of that, did you?
And there is literally no way that could have been Justin Fields and we would have not heard of it.
Oh, no. And so that kind of thing, I think, stands out and is more egregious. I mean, and I have not done a bunch of independent research, so Mac Jones may not have a DUI, but everything I said, the meme actually said 2, and someone in the comments was like, nah, he only has 1. But that makes me feel very confident. He at least has the ones for me to say that here. And so I think that kind of thing is more glaring for me because there are no character concerns for Justin Fields. He is a fantastic athlete, has been nothing but a model citizen at Ohio State, etc. If you want to criticize something on the field, do that. But I have seen nothing that justifies any criticism off the field.
And Mac Jones is the quarterback people are calling cerebral, brilliant, best processor I've seen in the last decade. And we talked about this.
If your receiver's 12 yards open, you better process, right? Like, come on. But I do think there's a lot of truth to this. And I think the way they've talked about this has changed over the years. Before, in the NFL, the Wonderlic test was the big thing. And they would say, oh, his Wonderlic score is low, or, we hear he's not doing so well in his classes, or there was always something to try to make them sound dumb. And to be honest, most of the things that they try to measure to determine a quarterback's intelligence don't actually measure a quarterback's intelligence.
Have nothing to do with
playing football. Can you play football? Can I watch tape and see you tear up a defense? That's all I got to know. And if that's what we're doing, there's no black quarterback who I've seen who has not been good at that. So much so that when given the chance to compete at a fair level, there are now more black quarterbacks in this league than ever.
I am 100% with you. And I think we actually are seeing black quarterbacks flourish because sometimes racial bias can be a double-edged sword. We are seeing that when black quarterbacks are touted, it's usually because they have just extreme, ungodly offensive gifts.
Well,
like athletic gifts. Sorry, thank you. Athletic abilities. It's never because they're smart, they're cerebral, they're brilliant, they're great processors, studiers of the game. So the quarterbacks that are black that we generally see shoot up the board are just like Vic-esque, Jamarcus Russell-esque. They're the guys that are just like physically
big, strong, fast.
Can't miss it. Exactly.
Cam Newton.
Exactly. And they're never the guys that could break the game down with their mind. And we are starting to see those quarterbacks, especially as of late, fall a little bit further down in the draft and have a lot more success because of it, because those teams later on in the draft are just better organizations.
Well, that's why they're picking later. But even the quarterbacks who are less athletic ability and who are established in the league already, who are black, don't get the credit for not being the passer. So, for example, and you're gonna hate this, but Dak is not a super athlete. Dak does not have a Patrick Mahomes arm. Everyone thinks Dak is trash. They're like, he is maybe the 16th best quarterback in this league. And I'm like, what are you smoking?
Yeah, you remember when they would say he was the worst quarterback in the NFC East?
Yes. He is quite literally today the best. You people were wrong. Carson Wentz was trash.
Whoa, we'll see. We'll see. The book is still out to be written on Carson Wentz.
Okay, that's fair. But I will say similar kind of thing. Even for Russ, it's let Russ cook, but it means let Russ run around.
Yes. And when Russ wants more input, it's very hard for him to get it somehow. So we see them fall to better situations, which is great. Lamar Jackson was a big one for me. Somehow he fell all the way to 32.
Mm-hmm.
All the way to 32. And
despite Heisman, despite tearing it up at Louisville,
mm-hmm.
all of that.
And to be fair, it sucks to see that happen to someone like him. But sometimes you're just like, well, I'm happy that you fell because you went to a place where somebody was willing to build around you, was willing to invest in you. Somebody was like, we cannot believe somehow you got to us because we saw the truth. And you remember when I had the conversation with the chief diversity officer of the NFL,
mm-hmm.
and he was just like, diversity makes your organizations better? This might be that example here. Diversity makes your organizations better because someone sees past the tropes. Especially John Harbaugh was one of these people, especially early in Lamar's career, who's like, I am tired of all the coded language. Lamar Jackson is a quarterback and a fantastic one. And it's just like, hey, maybe they end up in better situations because the people who do not hold or listen to those internal biases will take them once they fall.
Well, even when the black quarterback like Lamar Jackson is an athletic specimen who is just gifted, who's dripping in talent, they say, well, why don't you play tight end for us? Or
wide receiver.
Or running back or some other position. He's like, I'm a quarterback. And this is a question asked of black quarterbacks all the time. Go back to Cam. I think people said Cam should be a tight end. And I'm like, Cam should not be a tight end. Cam is a quarterback. Is he a statue going to stand in the pocket and throw the football quarterback? No, that's not him. That's not what he do. But can he win some games? Absolutely. Can he be MVP? Yeah. Can he get you to a Super Bowl and possibly win one? I think so. And I think he proved that over his career. Yes, Cam was the number one pick. People are probably going, oh, Cam. But he was still talked about the same way. People still asked him to switch positions. He still had his quote unquote character concerns, which were, in a lot of instances, they were real. They were legitimate. There were some things there. But some of it's just like, okay, those are little small things that happen when you're 18, 19 years old. It doesn't tell you.
Little small things for those quarterbacks.
Oh, no. It's the Jameis Winston stole crab legs.
Okay, come on, bro. That was some stupid ass. Come on, bro. That was dumb.
I think Jameis stood on the table in the dining hall and yelled out a B word. I think that was one accusation of Jameis when he was at Florida State. So those things are certainly real and they happen, but they are usually taken way, way, way out of proportion.
Mm-hmm.
So we're seeing it again this year. I think we will continue to see it until people on TV are really able to have a conversation about implicit bias in the media.
All right, I'm feeling it.
The Fly Route Pod. The Fly Route Pod. The Fly Route Pod. The Fly Route Pod.
We want to thank you all for taking the time out of your day to listen to this video. Did you know that this video is part of a larger Fly Route podcast? Look us up wherever you watch podcasts. We are on Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere. Take the time, subscribe. We appreciate you.
While we have you here, don't forget to like this video and hit that subscribe button. And while you're at it, don't forget to hit the notification bell. Otherwise, you will miss some of our YouTube videos. That's just the way YouTube works. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at The Fly Route Pod.